pledge, hypothecation, collateral. There are many names, but the meaning is same. And the meaning is the funding sources are less, or there are issues with the funding sources. Henceforth, you are pledging, hypothecating, or putting something as a collateral. In plain English, simple. Good evening. This is Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. In India, when people buy or sell any stock, they are 100% dependent on the media. And we know that how media works. They called the paid speaker, and when they called the paid speaker, he is already paid. I'm also one of the speakers in the world, but my motto is very clear, like my YouTube videos, that if you invite me, I'll speak the way it should be. I am not going to be following your curriculum before speaking. I'll give you an example. Long ago, somewhere 10 years ago, I was traveling to Mumbai from Delhi. And on my left hand side, there was a person who is from one media house. I will not name that person. Later on, he joined me on the LinkedIn also. Delhi Mumbai is around 2 hours flight. So what you do, the first 25 minutes, you have some food, and then you love to talk with somebody who is either on the left hand side or on the right hand side. This is how it works. Because in the long flights, and when we go to Singapore and all, and when we go to Hong Kong and all, we generally prefer sleep, because long flights are always of night flights, while Mumbai flights are always of morning flights. So you love talking with the people. So, and I love talking. So I had a chat with that person, and later on he invited me to come in his shows on a TV channel. I will not name that TV channel. But he put a condition before me, and the condition was that I am supposed to speak the content their media team would be providing. And you know me very well. I was adamant. I was like, you invite me or you don't invite me. It doesn't make any difference, but I am not going to be speaking what your so-called media team would be providing. I would be speaking what is exactly matters. That's more important. It was around half an hour we're going to be reaching to Mumbai, and he was completely disagreed with that. So he said, we can't take you. I said, okay, don't take me, but even if you take me or not, I'm not going to be changing my rules. Once we landed, and in the evening, I got a LinkedIn invite from that person, and he joined me on the LinkedIn. He is still on my LinkedIn profile, and he is still with that media house as a deputy editor. I still remember in 2012, when I was invited in Eurofinance, India, and the photographs are on the Facebook. When the session was about to start, a paper was circulated with everybody, and in this paper there were a set of questions along with answers. You would be surprised to know. And I was very clear at that point of time. Even in 2012, I was around 29 then. Today I'm 37. I was very clear at that point of time that, guys, wait, you exclude my name, I'll go. But I'm not going to be following your question and answer session. And you know what happened? The person, to defame me, he asked a question in front of everybody that what is your opinion about Reserve Bank of India? And I was very clear, even in 2012, that Reserve Bank of India is one of the most obsolete infrastructure we have in India, and it should be closed. Later on, Eurofinance was very clear that what would be the result of this answer, because you know that a 29-year-old person answered upfrontly about Reserve Bank of India and what people were expecting. But what had happened is completely reversed. I got the best speaker rankings in Eurofinance 2012 Mumbai, and I was 29. And people mentioned in their ranking that this person speaks upfront and fact. So this is me. So whenever the media person comes in the TV shows, we know how they work. We also act as a speaker for many people, but the way we speak, you know. And when Indians invest in any stock, they prefer these media people. So before I go ahead, let me show you what I'm referring to. This is Dalal Street Magazine, September 2021. Dalal Street Magazine, September 2021, page number 50. Page number 50. So all the information is collated from the magazine, right? Thoughts are ours, but information is by the magazine, right? And so we are trusting the information which is provided. By the way, I saw few information, it is matching with the money control. Few information. Now, before I start, let me have the first paragraph. In the pursuit of discovering fundamentally strong stock that are capable of compounding wealth over the long term, investors thoroughly analyze earnings, growth, industry prospect, peers, ratios, modes, management, and valuation. However, investors often tend to downplay or even overlook the promoter shareholding pattern. Examining a company's promoter shareholding pattern is one of the most significant yet underrated parameters while forming an investment hypothesis. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I have hardly seen people, those who see the promoters holding. Like I mentioned that in Adani's, one of the companies of Adani, the promoter holding is cutting while foreign institutional holding is growing. There is a good chance that you must have encountered a term promoters pledging. It has substantial influence over a stock performance and often can ruffle feature among investor and shareholders. So I completely agree with the writer, whosoever the person is, that he rightly pointed it out. You know, always remember that promoters pledge of his or her shares is always not good. But one thing which the speaker wrongly mentioned, which is while investors will readily look at various financial flags of a company before deciding on parking their funds, they rarely, if ever, take a closer look at promoters pledging. Here, there is also a misconception that promoters pledging means a company is in financial distress. I completely agree. Promoters pledging doesn't mean the company is in financial distress. Definitely not. I completely agree. Arman Madhani explained what such pledging means and how they work as a guidance to the company overall health. But guys, remember that. What is pledging? That we need to understand. Any organization of the globe, whether this is Aramco, ExxonMobil, Samsung, Apple, Google, Amazon, big names, they have huge avenue of sources. They are profitable. The basic avenue is their, the reserves and surplus. That is the basic avenue. Apart from that, they are big names. The day they come with the FPO, follow on public offer or bond sales, people just go. Because example, Apple. If today Apple will go ahead with the bond sale, and I, as an individual or as a company chairman, can invest, I definitely go, because I know that there is very small chance that Apple will default. Though anyone can default in the world. But with due respect, one company convertible is right there in Indian market right now, and they are offering around 10% interest rate. I'm not going to be investing, whatever the scene might be. Whatever. I'm not going to be investing because I have a serious doubt about the company credentials. So the pledging happens when the sources of avenues decrease or dry down. Else, pledging never happens. Example, did you see pledging happens, in the good stocks like Infosys, SCL, I would say, multiple companies in India? Those who are good companies, cash rich company, Tata Consultancy Services, and many good companies, those who are fundamentally strong companies. Did you ever seen the pledging happens in these stocks? Pledging will never happen because they are cash rich company. Since they are cash rich company having a stable business model, okay, plus minus 5-10%, they have lots of avenues of pledging, lots of avenues of fundraising. Investors needs to understand that when you invest in any stock in India, it is your fundamental duty to look at the pledge. Example, there are many concerns which were raised and even today raised on asset quality of IndusInd Bank. And hope you remember that in 2020, it was me who challenged IndusInd Bank about his default. And that video circulated whole India. My friend told me 500 million times this video was circulated at that point of time. But nothing happened. This is how India works, Did you know that, guys, according to Dalal Street, September, page number 51, in Q2 financial year 21, I repeat, Q2 financial year 21 till Q1 financial year 22, which means 3 quarters, 90 days. I repeat, Q2 financial year 21 till Q1 financial year 22, which means 90 days, the promoters pledging increased from 0% to 46%. Precisely, I can say 46%, which means that Q2 financial year 21 promoter pledge was 0 and now it is 46%. And on IndusInd Bank, there are concerns about asset quality. Now, if you look at the Hindi media, and especially the calls which they are giving on Bank Nifty, I doubt whether any media person dare to cover this in a live show. Because if they cover this in a live show, you know what will happen, that speaker will not invite it again. Because people will start selling the IndusInd Bank. Let's take Indus Towers. Indus Towers is a cash-rich company. There is hardly any doubt. For a while, ignore Vodafone. Good. In the same 90-day period, the pledge was 0% to 41% approximately. Now, what does that mean? Let's take an example of Esther DM Healthcare, hospital company. In this 90 days, the pledge was 0% to around 11%. And do you know that Jindal Stainless Steel having a pledge of around 87%. And the list is very long, guys. I don't have time to cover everything. But do we know about this? And let me tell you more reality. Our Baba Ramdev ji always considered Ruchi Soya as the best FMCG company of India. In fact, he made several statements in the public that he wanted to make Ruchi Soya as a number one FMCG company, or maybe the numero uno in Italian language of the FMCG. Ruchi Soya is due for FPO, follow-on public offer, and I'm sure that they get follow-on public offer. There is hardly any doubt. They get approval. But you would be surprised to know that Ruchi Soya in quarter 1 financial year 22, which means June quarter. Quarter 1 financial year 22, the promoters pledged is 99.97%. Check on moneycontrol.com. It is better we call this 100% because 99.97 and 100% is 0.03 difference. So it would be better if we call this as 100%. You would be surprised to know Vedanta, to whom Indian media is giving sufficient hype nowadays. Their debt is cutting, this is cutting, this is cutting, this is cutting. Vedanta promoters have 99.99% pledged. It is better we call this 100. But please don't call 99.9999. You know, if you go and buy any t-shirt in a mall, the mall person will say, you ask the mall person, how much is cost? $4.99. Guys, it is better you say 500 because no one is going to be arguing for 1 rupee, right? So please don't say 4.99, say 500. Simple. Or you go and you buy a pair of shoe. How much does it cost? Simple. 1,299. Guys, call it 1,300. Don't call 1,299. So similarly, 99.97, 99.99, better you call this 100, right? Future Lifestyle Fashion Limited, 100%, exactly. Bajaj Hindustan Sugar, 100. Prime Focus, 100. GTL Infrastructure, 100. And the list is very long. List is very long. And these all are stocks with a market cap of more than 1,000 crores. And they are the top 10 stocks with a high promoter pledge. Do you know, guys? Let me tell you one thing. In case of Vedanta, the promoter's pledge is 100%. In the 1 year, the stock return is 127%. Because no one really bothers about the pledge. No one really bothers about the pledge. In fact, in India, pledge is never considered as a benchmark for investments. That is another very important thing. That's another very important thing. Now, let me tell you something more. Now, here are the decreasing, I would say the pledges. So, the best I have taken is JSW Energy. JSW Energy in the last 90 days reduced is pledged by around 50%, from 44% to 22%, which is good. But still, according to me, to my fundamentals, 22% is still very high, pretty high. Max Financial Services. I hope you heard about Max Financial Services on Hindi media many times, and the stock is also, Max Financial Services, quarter 2 financial year 21, pledge was 90%, and now it is 62%. And still 62% is considered very high. I'll tell you about Future Retail. Future Retail, it was 70%. Now it is 50%. And the list is very long for your information. So guys, one thing which we need to understand very clearly, is that when you make a decision about investing in any stock, go with fundamentals. And when you go with the fundamentals, you need to check the pledge also. That's very important. So I create a hypothetical example here. A company called Ram Lal Samosa Wala. Or if by chance this company exists, so it's just a coincidence. Ram Lal Samosa Wala is having a very good understanding with the operators. You know what does that mean? And what happens that Ram Lal Samosa Wala share price is 50 rupees. And he went to operators and said that you make my stock 500 rupees, I will give you 10% commission. Ramlal Samosewala operator, whose name is Shamlal, he agreed to it, and Shamlal made it. I hope you have saw this web series on Sony Live, which is about Harshad Mehta, and on a real-time basis, a lot of examples came. Let it be honest. Now, what happens when the share price reached to 500? Ramlal Samosewala give money to as a commission to the operator Shamlal, and there are multiple ways to give commission: to create a Mauritius account, to create a subroute, and so on and so forth. But investors, when investing in Ramlal Samosewala, a smart investor saw 100% of the stake held by promoters is pledged. Now, what is the meaning of that? All of a sudden, business environment change. COVID-19. Even today, one medical expert said that there is a big mess on the cards in India, and he warned United States also. Anyways, United States, it is more than 1800 fatalities per day with 1.75 lakh cases on a daily basis. We are not deliberating more on this issue in this video. Business change, and Ramlal Samosewala collapsed. Now what the person who lended money, because he took this as a collateral, what he is going to get done? He will simply invoke the pledge. Remember Yes Bank case? Yes Bank invoked the pledge of Dish TV. Now what happened? Ramlal Samosewala pledged this with Shah Rukh Khan. It is not the Shah Rukh Khan of Bollywood. Shah Rukh Khan is a random name I have chosen. So this is not the Shah Rukh Khan of Bollywood. So don't compare this with the Shah Rukh Khan of Bollywood. He pledged this stake with Shah Rukh Khan Finance Company Limited. Now the new owner of that, Ramlal Samosa is the Shah Rukh Khan Finance Limited. And what he's going to get done, he will simply go and say, delist all shares. Go to hell. And you know how many times shares delisted in India and how many times investors get compensated? Because the novice investors never thought that we are investing in a company, Ramlal Samosa, who never deserves to be 500, but still somehow it went to 500 and we bought at 500. And then what did happen when the shares pledge invoked? Shah Rukh Khan Finance Company decided to unlist that, and investors are on the road as usual. So guys, the purpose of giving so many examples is that you need to understand that when you invest in any stock, make a strict principle. Strict means strict. Even if there is 1% of the pledging, ignore this stock. Now, the biggest problem we have in India is that when these promoters pledge their shares, you will never get to know to whom they pledged. Whether it is a private institution, it is a government institution, it is a bank, it is a private equity, it is a hedge fund, it is a family office, we never get to know about this. Henceforth, decision making is next to impossible because we do not know to whom it pledged. Henceforth, the best strategy in the absence of any information, because investment in the stock is always real time, and getting such detailed information even not possible on Reuters, let it be honest. No offense. The best strategy is to have a standard and strict principle, which is even if there is 1% pledge, no way. No way we're going to be investing. But I know that the way India and Indian investors are going on, they would continue to be the way what it is right now. I will never see anyone come in the media and while giving the calls, buy this, sell this, buy this, sell this. He will never say that IndusInd Bank, who 90 days ago were having a pledge of 0%, now it is 46%. Now just take a simple case and then we conclude. Assuming tomorrow any severe variant came, and by the way, there are many variants we have right now in the line. A severe variant came, which led to the complete lockdown in India. You never know. There are enough warnings we have on the media. We are not reading, that is separate. And due to this, the stock market corrected by 10%. And we all know that Nifty 18,000 and Sensex 60,000 do not deserve. We all know the ground reality. And banking stock collapse. Because we know that when the recession happened, the first few sectors who face the heat is the banking, aviation, real estate, and the hospitality. Banking, aviation, real estate, and hospitality. Now what would happen? The person with whom that stock pledged, he will say, guys, wait, you pledged a stock of 1,000 crores, LTV, loan to value. I lent 500 crores. Now the value of the stock is 300 crores. It means I am at risk, the person who lended to you. If tomorrow you close your business, where is my money? 500 crores, and he invoked the pledge. Legally, no one can say no to him. He can invoke the pledge. He will give the variation call to that company, and that company will definitely not be able to honor. He invoked the pledge. And then he comes as a board member because he holds the controlling stake. No one can stop. No one can stop. No court can stop. No lawyer can argue. He holds the controlling stake. And he say, either wind this company or merge this company or change in these way. Investor may or might not like it. And share price collapsed more. And who would be at the receiving end? Investors. But in a unpledged company, these probabilities are not there. Maximum what happen? The company can collapse. And when the company collapses, there are signals in the market, and the alert investor catch these signals. Because there is no promoter stake pledged. Simple. So max to max company can collapse. This is the maximum thing can happen. I hope after listening this video, many media houses, unicorns will feel offended. As usual. This is Rahul from Tertiary Consulting Group. You know my personal number +91 9899 242 978. Have a great time ahead.